My Mother at 66. The poetess of this extract is Kamala Das. This poem confesses a daughter's painful feelings of fear of losing her mother. This is one of the best examples of human bonding. It tells how the daughter is much worried about her aging mother. It also shows that death is inevitable and aging is an inescapable phase of every human life. The title shows daughter's concern over her mother's aging. The form, style, and literary devices in the poem shows that it's a first monologue. Let's start with extract-based questions. The extract number 1. What is the theme of given extract? The theme of given extract is fear of loss and separation. State whether the given statement is true or false with reference to extract. The poetess didn't want to confront the inevitability of fate that was dawned upon her mother. It is true. Complete the sentence appropriately. The face ashen like that of corpse is an apt analogy used for mother because she looked very weak and sickly. Her face was pale. Choose the option that displays the same literary device as in the given lines of the extract. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. Simile. So we can see the simile in option B. My thoughts were as heavy as lead that evening when. Yeah. The poetess used the word last Friday specifically. This emphasized overarching idea of things coming to an end. Explanation. Friday marks the end of weekday business and transition into weekend rest. It is in the same Friday-like limbo between adult life and old age that Kamala Das finds her mother at ripe age of 66. Based on poem rhyme scheme evident in the line of extract, which word would rhyme with the last line? Friday mother face, Friday. The second stanza. Capitalization of young trees enhances the contrast between poet's sick and pale mother and trees this implies. Youth passes very quickly. Question 2. The use of word winter's moon in the extract suggests that during winters the sky is usually covered with mist. This is compared with mother's feeling because the poet's mother is getting old and the winter's moon symbolizes old age. Age has fogged mother's youthful appearance. Just as the brightness of winter moon is veiled behind the haze and mist, similarly, age has fogged mother's youthful appearance. My Mother at 66 is a confessional poem where poetess confirms all the thoughts she has for their mother. State whether given statement is true or false. My Mother at 66 is a poem that highlights daughter's painful feelings of growing old herself. No, because this shows the feelings of seeing her mother aging. So the statement is false. Select the option that is not true about poet's feeling depicted in the extract. Option D. The poetess never wanted to encounter such a situation. Read the given extract and answer the questions that follow. The state of mind of poetess when she looked at her mother is fearful and apprehensive. The poet's childhood fear was losing her mother. What does the use of word familiar ache felt by poetess suggest? The familiar ache shows the childhood fear of losing her mother. Which message is conveyed through the given lines of extract with reference to the natural processes of aging? The agony of separation felt by poetess from her aged mother is brought forward clearly, which conveys the message that youth should not remain busy in fulfilling their desires, that they forget their elderly parents who need them most at that time. The pain of separation is expressed both literally and metaphorically in this poem. The narrative single sentence style of the poem highlights which quality of the poet. It highlights poetess' intertwining thoughts. Stanza number 4. What is the theme of the poem My Mother, Act 66? Poet's fears, poet's love for her mother, theme of old age. We can see all the options fit in so correctly, so let's mark all of this. Based on the poem rhyming scheme, evident in lines 2 to 5, the given extract, which word would rhyme the pack, pace, pain? Pace. State whether the given statement is true or false with reference to the extract. The realization was painful because it was difficult for poetess to accept that her mother was aged. True. The poetic device used in action like that of corpse is simile. The use of word dose in the extract suggests that the time has come when the activities in life has come to a standstill and it's time to take a break. It signifies that death is approaching and end is near. The tone of poetess in the poem is primarily a combination of anxiety and misery. Read the given extract and answer the questions that follow. Which thought did poet put away? The impending death of her mother. Which word would rhyme with the word home in the last line of extract? Dome. The phrase tree sprinting signifies playing in time. How does it correlate in the poem? It correlates with the poetess mother's age. As the trees are moving behind, similarly the age of mother is passing by. State whether the given statement is true or false. The poetess is talented enough to shift tone from depression to excitement when she looked at young happy children out of the window in striking sharp contrast with her mother's image. No, she is not really happy about it. So the statement is false. When the poetess wishes to avert her attention from reminder of aging and death, she chooses to look at young trees and young children. What do they suggest? They suggest youth and life. The image of merry children spilling out of their homes depicts happiness and spontaneous overflow of life. Let's see some subjective type questions. Question number 1. State the common issues faced by most of the aged in current times with reference to the poem My Mother at 66. The common issue is absence of supporting presence, loneliness, alone when the children move away. The common issues faced by most of the aged in current times with reference to the poem are absence of supporting presence, loneliness, aging parents when children move away. It is the result of the fact that poet lived away from her mother. Question number 2. The pain of separation is expressed both literally and metaphorically in this poem. Elucidate. So, how is the pain literally and metaphorically explained in the poem? Let's read the answer. The poem describes a scene where a mother and daughter are driving in their hometown in Kurchin. The mother dozes off when daughter looks at her ashen, unmoving body. She suddenly gets frightened that time. This makes her pensive and reflect on love for her mother. Poetess narrates the bonding between the duo and brings forth the pain and fear of her daughter losing her mother due to inevitable reality of life, which is death. Comment on the tone of poem with reference to My Mother at 66. The tone of this poem is predominantly pensive and sorrowful. The poetess suddenly notices that her mother looks as old as she is. This could have surprised her since she only sees her mother during holidays of her mother's death. Holidays on daily basis. However, it does not surprise her because she has always been aware of certainty of her mother's death, as she does when she turns away from her mother to look at the trees and children. She has simply chosen not to think about her losing her mother anytime soon. Yet that fear has always plagued her, and it plagues her still. This saddens her, and one can see her silent tears even when she has forced herself to smile. Imagery was an effective literary device to bring out the contrast between Mary children and the mother. Comment. The poet bought the image of Mary children spilling out of their homes because this image helps to bring out the contrast between childhood and old age. While the childhood is period of carefree merrymaking, old age is period of death-like sadness. With childhood, the journey of life begins, and with old age, the journey ends. The poet does not directly mention fear of mother's death, and yet she is successfully able to convey the same through different poetic techniques. Discuss. Kamala Das speaks of an old familiar ache. What do you think is reason for this feeling? Both question number 5 6 include two value points to Char. Realization that she has not given enough care to her aging mother. Fear of permanent separation from her mother. Why has the poet mentioned Mary children spilling out of their home in the poem? The poetess had bought the image of Mary children spilling out of their homes to bring out the contrast between childhood and old age. While age is while childhood age is a period of carefree merrymaking, old age is a period of death-like stillness and sadness. What does the poet smile in the poem My Mother at 66 show? Reassuring herself and her mother, masking, hiding, covering her fear of separation, fears of mother's death, hiding her fear of not being able to see her mother alive again, and hiding her guilt, sorrow at leaving her mother at the critical juncture. Why are the young trees described as sprinting? Why were the young trees described as sprinting in the poem My Mother at 66? Okay, so the answer for question number 9 is when the poet moves forward in her taxi, she sees the trees sprinting in backward direction, and this is exactly how her mother's age has gone too soon, too far. What were the poet's feeling as she drove to Kochi airport? The poet's feeling at the airport of fear because she was afraid that her mother was going to die because she was looking very weak and she was not sure whether she would be able to meet her mother again. She hides her fear by smiling and assures her mother that they would meet again. Why has mother been compared to late winter moon? Because late winter moon are usually pale and it resembles mother who has lost the glow of her face. Now let's see some long answer type questions. Usually from poem we can see the extract based questions and long answer type questions are asked from prose, but still let's read them for once. Imagine the mother gets to know the poet's person's fear. Write a letter as the mother telling the daughter why she must not dwell on these fears. You may begin this way. Palipuram, Cochin, Kerala, 22 August 60. My dear Kamala, the format of letter is informal letter. I'm writing to you because when you left me at the airport, I felt something wasn't right, judging by how little you spoke that day. You can continue this paragraph, that is body of letter, by adding points like her mother is explaining her the reality of that death is inevitable. It can come anytime soon. And dwelling in emotions does nothing but harm her mental peace and productivity. So her mother is giving her life lessons in this letter. Imagine you are poet's friend. Write a dialogue exchange between yourself and the poet where the latter confides in you about her fears and asks you for her advice. You can read the conversation. Okay. So usually this type of questions where we can see the mix of chapters, like suppose Edla meets Kamala Das, and it can be anything, any two characters from our syllabus mixing, and we just have to imagine and write a conversation on them. So this was all about the questions which are usually asked, and even if any new question is asked, you just need to mix the valuable points from these questions and frame a good answer. I hope it helps. I'll show you some solution for practice questions. You can read it for enhancing your vocabulary. Okay, so this is it. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching this video.